Hi drummers, hope you're well. Right, quick video for you here about playing with an upbeat gospel kind of feel, sometimes called a polka or a two-step or a double time or just an up-tempo feel. Sounds a bit like this. And the big idea here, as you can hear, is it's just euphoric, up-tempo, like high energy, just glorious music, man. It's just brilliant stuff. There's tons of great gospel music, of course, with this feel, and then it crossed over in a huge way in the 1940s and 50s, I guess, R&B into rock and roll and pop music, and now we know songs like Shout, a famous version by Lulu, the Isley Brothers song, or Walking on Sunshine, of course, Katrina and the Waves, or Amy Winehouse's version of Valerie, and like hundreds and thousands of other tunes as well. I'll take you through just a couple of basic variations here. The actual main thing, the sort of basic up-tempo gospel beat, or as I say, polka or two-step, often referred to, or double-time groove, is just kick, snare at its heart, like 1, 2, 3, 4. It is occasionally as well written as eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, with the snare drum on the and, but I tend to think of it as just 1, 2, 3, 4, and the hi-hat just plays on the quarter note. So it is basically, it's certainly, if you had lessons with me, the first drum beat you'd ever learn. It's a quarter note drum beat, right? So bass drum and hi-hat and snare beat 2, bass drum and hi-hat beat 3, hi-hat and snare drum beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My first drum beat, man. All you do is you work that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the basic idea. I think most drummers who play this style, and to my ears, what sounds good as well, one of the things that they do is accent on the hi-hat when you're hitting the snare drum. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You really dig in as the snare drum hits. Other than that, it's just part all the way, isn't it? Very cool. On the drum fill front, you tend to do a couple of things. What I do, number one, and probably most common, is you just play eighth notes, right? So if you're doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and if they're your quarter notes, drum fills will be eighths. So things like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And a big thing with this type of gospel feel is the eighth notes can be straight or swung. Check out my video. I'll link to it in the description below about straight and swung feels. So now I'll play the same sort of thing, but on those eighth notes in the fill, I'll swing. With a swinging feel, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's kind of it for the basic version. Now, I guess another fill you could do actually is triplets. So as you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, you could do 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. That would give you a really exciting feel. I think as the excitement level and the intensity builds when you're playing groove like this, that could be a good fill to use. So. A shorter version of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So it might be 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, or it might just be like I was doing a couple of times there, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. You can experiment with that. But I'd say they're the big two things more than anything else to go for your fills. Eighth notes. Remember, if the beat is quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and straight or swung, depending on the feel. A couple of cool variations on the groove you might do, or probably the most famous variation, I would say, the one that's most used, is playing a bass drum on the 1, and then hi-hat and snare would stay the same, but the bass drum would then play on the and of 2 and the and of 3, and you'll recognise this from a ton of songs. So 1, 2 and 3 and 4. You getting that? 1, 2 and 3 and So here the hands are playing the same part as before. 1, 2, 3, 4. The kick's on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The second kick is on the and of beat 2. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 And finally, the third kick is on the and of 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 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 You getting it? Which is very often, not always, but very often, again, those eighth notes are swung. So that'd be variation 2 on the groove. And then how about the third variation? We'll combine the two that we've done so far. So our first little variation, or not the variation, the basic version at first was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next little thing was. Let's now finally combine those. So we'll do the first bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second bar of a 2-bar phrase will play 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And on you go. I really think these grooves work great on the hi-hat and the ride as well. One little thing about when people start off with this groove, they often ask me, is it possible to just play like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and? In other words, leave the hi-hat or ride out when you play the snare drum. Yes, it is possible. Sounds like this. Or on the ride. And that's fine when you're starting out. I would say if you possibly can, play it as eighth notes. In my opinion, to my ears, that sounds so much better to have the eighth note in there. And like I said at the start of this video, actually, I tend to accent that that hi-hat or ride when the snare drum is hit. So. And that just really gives it a lift, I think, and especially when you're playing with the band and everyone's dancing, that just seems to drive it forward so much more if you can have that in there. So if you possibly can, I would play either eighth notes if you count them as eighth notes or quarter notes. But the point is every single hit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So right stick with the snare drum if you possibly can. The only reason I would say not to do that is if you're playing the song and when you're doing that, it's at a tempo where just currently it isn't smooth, in which case go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, please do that. That always sounds better, I think. So to recap, this is the up-tempo gospel groove. Basic version goes like this. Cool variation that you hear all over the place goes like this with the bass drum. You can combine those two to make a great all-time classic gospel like 2-bar loop. And two great ideas for drum fills. One is playing eighth notes, if you're counting the groove as quarter notes, eighth notes like this. Which can be straight or swung, as can the groove itself. I'll swing them now. You could even do a Stevie Wonder and play straight fills and swung groove. That's always fun if it fits the music. And another great idea for a drum fill is to play triplets. These are eighth note triplets if you're counting the groove as quarter notes. And just get playing, man. I suppose the challenge with this, when you first start playing it to music, is it's quite quick. Loads of cool things you can do these days, like slow the music down. I've got videos about how to do that, how to slow down music to play along to. I'll link those. I'll put those in the video description below or above, depending on what platform you're watching this on. And thanks a million for watching as always. I really hope that's useful. It's such a great, euphoric, enjoyable style of music. So whatever you do, make sure you've got this one in your repertoire and in your practice session some of the time. Enjoy doing this. And if you get gigs like I do, playing at, a lot of weddings, functions, parties, like sleazy corporate dues, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's going to come up. Like, it's one of those great feels, like that Valerie tune that Amy Winehouse Valerie's absolute staple, man. It's going to come up over and over again. Hopefully things like Shout as well. And just, if you're playing in church and you're doing this kind of feel, man, this is what a lovely thing to have in your life if you can go and play this feel regularly for people who are into it and appreciate it. Lovely. So thanks for watching as always. I really, really appreciate it. Please like, share and these videos and subscribe to this channel. Massively appreciate that. And thanks as always to all the amazing people who've supported this channel. If you've enjoyed watching these videos and appreciated them and found value in them, if you're in a position to, please consider supporting this channel. You can do that via my Buy Me a Coffee support page, which again I'll link to in the description below or above, depending. And I really massively appreciate people who've done that. You can either just show one-off support for this channel if you've appreciated it by buying me a coffee, so to speak, a virtual coffee on that page, or you can become a monthly member, which is a relatively new thing I've started, and it's been absolutely amazing. Monthly members for £10 a month, again, is a great way of supporting this channel, helping it to grow. Thanks so much to all the people who've done that. And you get a whole load of features in return. You get a complimentary, now free, a 30-minute Zoom where we'll set you up with, if you want one, a practice plan, a daily practice plan. I'll write that plan for you. I'll update it for you each month as you progress. We'll set that up with a nice 30-minute Zoom session, or face-to-face if you want to come to my studio in Cambridgeshire at first. You get members videos once a week. Every Sunday now is members videos day. You get video support from me in the form of video responses. So if you have a question and it warrants a video response, I'll send you that. You get a whole load of other cool stuff like that. Email support, feedback on your drumming, and I'll support you as you develop, man. That's the whole deal. So thanks a million to all the people. Oh, a shout out to amazing Roger, who signed up yesterday as another monthly member. Thanks a million, Roger. Massively appreciate the support and look forward to working with you. Thanks a million. Good luck with your gospel feel. Have fun with it. By the way, that's not the only style of gospel music. Should have said this at the start. The only groove you play in gospel, that's one of them. You might find yourself playing a straight eights type of feel. You might find yourself playing a triplet feel and a whole lot of other stuff as well. But that's just one particular thing. Like I said, the double time or upbeat gospel feel. Thanks a million. See you soon.